Literacy rate and its importance in modern society. Myself, Revati, and I am going to tell you the main meaning and definition about literacy rate. Good morning, everyone, respected sir, and my dear friends. Myself, Revati, and our topic is based on literacy rate and its importance in modern society. So, as we all know that literacy is one of the most important aspect in our life, that is, literacy means ability to read and write. Literacy researchers was started in earlier 1980s. Therefore, literacy is fundamental human right and the basis of for any individual's ability to learn. Alberta Education defines literacy as the ability, the confidence and willingness to engage with language to acquire, construct and communicate. Now, as we all know, every coin has two sides. Thus, likewise, there are also advantages and disadvantages of literacy rate. Let's take a view. Advantages to literacy are as follows. Increased civic engagement. Rapid growth in economy, which itself says more literate nation, better the standard of living. Reduces poverty. This also concludes that more the people improve their skills, more the people will educate others by spreading knowledge. Promotes democracy through economic growth and development. Reduces crime rate. Enhances cultural diversity. These are some advantages. Now let's take a look towards disadvantages. Learning approach becomes the cope up with modern means of learning. Technology limitations which only says lack of knowledge itself. Convenience and expenses which lead to lack of saving and unable to manage the expense. And the last goes environmental issues. Thank you so much. Now I shall hand over to Yashvardhan. He would introduce you to the types of literacy.
Thank you, Revati. As she has explained in brief about literacy, everyone should have understood how important literacy is in the society. Now, I would like to start with the types of literacy. There are four major types of literacy. They are reading and writing literacy, digital literacy, cultural literacy, and financial literacy. Reading and writing literacy. A person who can read and write is known as a literate person. Reading and writing literacy also comes under various types of literacy. Person should be able to read and write, which determines his ability to deal with the society. If he is unable to read and write, then there are high chances of him getting misused by someone else. Reading and writing has a link between them, which makes a person literate. If a village man is unable to read and write, then people can take undue advantage of him or her by illegally signing off his or her property, etc. Second, digital literacy. Digital literacy refers to an individual's ability to find, evaluate, and compose clear information through writing and other media on various digital platforms. As the name suggests, digital literacy focuses mainly on digital platforms. Various digital devices and things are then accessible by the person. Motive of digital literacy is to make the society a digitally developed society. People should be able to adapt with the changing needs of society. Third, financial literacy. Financial literacy is the possession of the set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all other financial resources. Financial literacy is must in today's world because without finance, a person is considered worth nothing. Finance helps the person to handle his income in a proper way. He or she is able to make use of his or her daily expenses in a proper way, which then allows them to avoid unnecessary expense. Understanding basic financial concept is very important as core of finance develops a strong mentality attitude to handle various financial problems. Financial training also plays a vital role in developing positive attitude of people in improving the rate of literacy in the society. In March 2008, the OECD launched the International Gateway for Financial Education, which aims to serve as a clearinghouse for the financial education programs. Fourth, cultural literacy. The ability to understand and participate in a given culture is known as cultural literacy. A culturally literate person knows a given culture, signs, and symbols, including its language, particular dialectic, stories, entertainment, idioms, idiosyncrasies, and so on. A culturally literate person is able to talk to and understand others of that culture with fluency and efficiency. Literacy of a culture can be adopted very quickly. Cultural literacy is mostly seen in people who constantly migrate or get transferred for jobs from one place to another. These were the four types of literacy which are important in today's world. Now, I hand over the presentation to Harshdeep to continue further. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshvardhan, for your valuable knowledge. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Arshdeep Kaur, and Arshdeep Sandhu, and I would like to show some light on the following topics, which are interpretation, limitation, purpose, and literacy rate. Firstly, I would like to begin with literacy rate. The literacy rate is defined by the percentage of the population of the age group that can read and write. The adult literacy rate corresponds to ages 15 and above, the youth literacy rate to age 15 to 24, and the elderly to ages 65 and above. It is typically measured according to the ability to comprehend a short, simple statement on everybody's life. Generally, literacy also encompasses numeracy, and measurement may incorporate a simple assessment of arithmetic ability. The literacy rate and number of liberates should be distinguished from functional literacy, a more comprehensive measure of literacy assessed on a continuum in which multiple proficiencies levels can be determined. My next topic is interpretation of literacy. A high literacy rate suggests the existence of an effective primary education system or literacy program that have enabled a large proportion of the population to acquire the ability of using the written word in daily life and continue learning. It is important practice to present and analyze literacy rates together, in which the absolute number of adults illiterates as improvements in literacy rate may sometimes be accompanied by increase in the illiterate population due to a changing demographic structure. My next topic shall be purpose. To show the accumulated achievement of primary education and literacy programs in impacting basic literacy skills to the population, thereby enabling them to apply such skills in daily life and to continue learning and communicating using the written word. Literacy represents a potential for further intellectual growth and contribution to economic social development of society. My next topic is limitation. Countries apply definitions and criteria for literacy which are different from international standards, or equate person with no some schooling or illiterates, or changes definition between censuses. Some assessments of literacy may also rely on self-reporting, possibly reducing accuracy. In countries where nearly all individuals have completed basic education, the literacy rate provides limited information on variance of literacy skills in the population. I hope I shall make sense to my explanation. Now I would like to hand over to Revati. Thank you.
Thank you, Arshdeep. Now I shall go on and move on to importance of literacy. Importance of literacy, the first one is to develop a nation. Literate population always helps any nation to develop and grow. Because of literate population, social, economic, cultural growth takes place logically and globally. Nation can increase its potentiality of becoming more powerful through its population worldwide. Secondly, reduces unemployment. Due to literate people explore to always new innovations which produces employment at different levels. Good employment in a nation creates GDP higher and it makes total growth of nation. Literacy empowers women and girls. The global illiterate population of young girls is 16 to 61.9%. So, the importance of education for women cannot be understood. Breaking the cycle of literacy and improving self-esteem is crucial for women and girls in the developing world. By enabling them to become economically productive and independent, they become empowered and can take control to their lives. The importance of education is fostering personal autonomy and creative. Fourthly, and the last, literacy reduces infant mortality rates. Illiterate Illiteracy directly affects an individual's health and well-being. So the importance of education on physical health is vital. Those without education are more likely to be vulnerable to health problems. Infant mortality decreases 9% every year of education. Thank you. Now I shall hand over to Vineet.
Thank you, Revati. Myself, Vinit Kopulwar. Now, I would like to start with uses of literacy in modern society. There are various uses of literacy in modern society. Here are some important uses of literacy, namely, first, digital literacy, financial literacy, third, cultural literacy, fourth, media literacy, fifth, critical literacy. First, uses of digital literacy. Digital literacy is the ability to use digital technologies at adequate level for creation, communication, collaboration, and information search and evaluation in digital society. It involves development of knowledge and skills for using digital device and tools for specific purpose. Secondly, uses of financial literacy. Financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills includes personal finance management, budgeting, investment, retirement planning. Personal finance management, it simply means gaining an understanding of financial situation in order to make to most of your asset in day-to-day life and in planning for your future. You should track your spending and saving. Budgeting, it is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. It simply means balancing your expenses with your income. Now, investment, it is essential part of wealth creation which helps you beat inflation to fulfill your financial goals and also stabilize your financial future. You have various investing options such as stock, mutual funds, fixed deposit, RD, and you can also invest in commodity like gold and silver. Retirement planning, it is the process of determining retirement income goals and the actions and decision necessary to achieve those goals. It includes source of income, saving program, and managing assets and risk, etc. Third, uses of cultural literacy. Cultural literacy refers to ability to understand and participate fluently in given culture. It reduces prejudice and inequality based on culture, increases value placed on diversity, and increase participation in the social practice of that society, including access to institution and services. For example, when cultural literate people have influence in institutions like universities or government agency, they can ensure that people from all cultural backgrounds are able to participate equitably in educations and services. Now, uses of media literacy. It is the ability to identify different type of media and message they are sending. Become a smart consumer of product and information. Media literacy helps kids to learn how to determine whether something is credible. It also helps them determine the persuasive intent of advertising and resist the technique marketer used to sell product. Second, recognizing point of view. Every creator has perspective. Identifying an author's point of view helps kids appreciate different perspective. It also helps put information in context of what they already know. Third, create media responsibility. Recognizing your own point of view, saying what you want to say, how you want to say it, and understanding that your message have an impact is key to effective communication. Now, uses of critical literacy. Critical literacy is ability to find embedded discrimination in media, ability to understand. It allows students to develop their ability to understand the message found in online articles and other sources of media, such as news stations or journalism, through careful analysis of the text and how the text is presented. Second, recognize the language. It prepares students to recognize the importance of language in formation of politics, race, and power because the way in which phrases are worded can impact the overall message. Third, identification of discrimination. It teaches us how to identify discrimination within institution of power and then to question these power dynamics when they appear in written and oral tests so that students may comprehend why certain topics such as racial slur are controversial in society. Thank you. I shall hand over to Chaitanya.
Thank you, Yash. Now, I am explaining about the contribution of literacy in economy. Literacy provides better employment prospectus and give a higher social economic status. Increased literacy rate also leads to decreased population growth rate and thus a country's resources better shared among less people. Literacy rate is given its due importance as a key to India's prosperity. There is a need to improve the overall literacy rate as improved literacy rate has an impact on increasing a country's economic growth rate and decreasing population growth rate. India has a very young population. Literacy will play a very important role in turning the young population into potential human capital. Second, literacy and the economic growth. Lit- Literacy is always considered to be an important key of social economic growth. Economic prosperity of a country entirely depends on the economic resources. It has a human resource is an important part of economic resource. Human resources include the population, its growth rate, skills, standard of living, and the work capacity of labor force. And all the above factors can be enhanced by increasing the literacy rate of population. Thus, literacy rate plays a key role in economic growth of country. As the biggest asset India has its human resource. Effective utilization of human resource become a very crucial for the country's economic progress, and thus literacy plays all the more an important role in determining India's growth. Third, literacy and population growth. According to the classical demography transition model, a country undergoes a transition from high birth and death rate to low birth and death rate as it develops from a pre-industrial to an industrialized economic system. The population of India in 1901 was 238 million with a density of 77 per square kilometer. From 1901 to 1921, India almost had a stagnant population. The period 1921 to 1951 saw India having a steady growth rate from 1951 to 1981. The country underwent a rapid high growth in population, with growth rate averaging around 19%. From 1981 to 2001, India faced high growth rate. India faced high growth with defined slowing down. The latest census data of 2011 also shows the slowing down as India's population grew at a rate of 17.64% in the past decade. If literacy rate in the same period is considered, India had a literacy rate of 6% in 1901. It has been an increase ever since. After independence, schooling was children aged between 6 right to Education Act. If the data of past 50 years is considered, literacy rate has increased from 28.31% in 1961 to 74.4% in 2011. There has been an increase in the literacy rate and decrease in TRF rate. Next, population and economic growth. In India, it has been established that youth population can potentially become its biggest asset in the near future. When the age structure of Indian population is considered, it is clearly evident that it is favorable for economic growth as the Indian population is very young. However, the population has to be converted to human capital by imparting skills in order to perform so as to produce economic value. Contrary to the idea of population growth having an impact on economic growth, it can be more confidentially put that economic growth does not impact the population growth and slows it down. Next, population of literacy and challenges. Literacy, economic growth, GDP, and population growth, TFR, are all strongly correlated with each other and thus an increased literacy and at the same time maintains a steady level of workforce underutilized. It comes after it is accepted that most important resource of India is its working population. The slow female work participation rate FWPR is one of the indicator of human capital being underutilized in India. India has to be exhaustively utilize its human capital to leverage its human resource and thus high female work participation is very much essential. This is called for an urgent wave of reforms to curb the gender inequality so that the right of atmosphere is created when in a female work participation rate will increase. Even though India is now becoming an industrial economy, majority of population still lives in rural area. There is a strong economic divide between rural and urban in India, as industrialization has benefited mostly the urban areas. Next, challenges to literacy and solution. Literacy growth in India is at a slugging pace of 1.5% per year, with more than 33% of children dropping out of the school before reaching the 50th grade and 90% dropping out before they reach high school. Therefore, the solution is state government has been successfully in implementing the education schemes such as the education guarantee scheme where there has been decentralized school management to local governments and panchayats. Given the importance of literacy in improving the economic situation of country, as it has been shown that there existing a high correlation between literacy rate and GDP and the GDP, it becomes an imperative to find some innovative measures to increase the literacy growth rate. So therefore, the solution is government would fund students for education instead of schools, which would essentially mean a transfer of power to the student, and thus allowing student choices to determine where the government's education funds go. This system would bring in competition in the schools, be in the private school or government school, and thus leading to better education system. Decentralizing power over school to local bodies and reducing the political power of teachers. Union would also lead to a better infrastructure in schools and a better education system. Therefore, 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 could there could be many more measures to add to the above suggestions. Measures which can be dramatically improve the quality of education system in the country. So I shall hand it over to Akshata.
Akshata, can you continue?
Okay. Yes, I'll continue. Now I
Okay, no problem.
okay. Now I will explain the conclusion. Literacy is important because communication communication skills are otherwise limited to speech. Technology becomes unstable, and it is almost impossible to acquire a job. Without the ability to read or write, a person can only communicate verbally. One cannot compose or de- decipher notes, text, mail, or any other forms of written communication. When there is no way to write information down, information becomes muddled and inaccurate. When one cannot read, one cannot operate technology. Human culture is becoming increasingly digital. Technologies such as computers and phones are increasingly becoming a larger part of our lives. So it is important to be able to operate them. Communication is moving steadily towards being based more and more on electronic media. For examples, emails, text, and social media, etc. Literacy is a strong weapon which can be root out the social issues of dowry, corruption, and child labor. Li- lit- uh, Literate population can contribute manifolds in the economic and social development of nation. Nowadays, the technology is day by day increasing, so we need to approach them. Then the only way is education. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. This was a presentation based on literacy and its importance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hope you like it.